Welcome everybody to Wick Live. I am Kayla Dan alongside our winteriscoming.net editor-in-chief Dan Selke. And joining us today is our special guest, Gwen Purdom, who is editor-in-chief of Culturist. Gwen, welcome. We're happy to have you.
I'm excited to be here.
And we have a new set.
Yeah.
Do you like it, people? We have a nice rug in the colors of House Stark. We have some nice cushy couches to kind of give us increased support.
We need it for talking about these topics.
New look for a new season.
Because this topic is, we have an iPad we're trying out, and we're not entirely sure how it works yet.
You want to turn the
Bear with us.
I do, would you? Because this topic is,
this is very meta, guys.
right?
We're not entirely sure how it works yet.
Isn't that charming?
There we go.
Thank you.
Problem fixed. Okay.
Anyway, we are talking today about Stormborn, the second episode of Game of Thrones Season 7. Came on last night, already making some waves. Guys, what are your general impressions?
I thought it was a good episode, a little slow burn, a lot of action packed into those last 10 minutes
No
after
kidding.
a lot of just kind of plotting
Meetings,
and
talking,
scheming and
right.
dialogue.
Right, yeah, they really rammed it home in the last bunch of minutes.
Sam is quickly becoming my least favorite character.
Okay,
Sam
let's start there because I do think that
I do have thoughts on that.
that made an impact. Okay, so we call this section Sam's Guide to Experimental Surgery. So let's, before we get into the fact that it was disgusting, let's just cover what happened in the plot.
Yeah.
So Sam, still at the Citadel with Archmaester Ebros, played by Oscar winner Jim Broadbent. By the way, if any of you guys want to comment.
Professor Slughorn.
Professor
as I like to call him.
Slughorn. Yes. And he is in a room with Jorah Mormont, who is just covered head to toe, except his face, in grayscale. It's
By the way,
gross, it's
great
cracky.
makeup.
Yeah.
The makeup does look
Special
terrific.
effects, yeah.
Until they had to scrape it off. And the first thing I want to ask you guys is, for the second week in a row, kind of, Sam defies the Maesters. And last week they told him not to go into the secret library, the restricted section, and they did anyway. This week they tell him, you can't cure this grayscale, it's too dangerous, you'll get infected, and he does it anyway. What is making Sam this Evel Knievel type rebel guy?
Little curious cat he is.
Yeah, I'm into him kind of manning up and being a little bolder than you would expect Sam to be, although I would prefer his being bold be less gross. He's 2 for 2 on the disgusting front, but I'm for it.
Me too. I like it as well. I like that we're seeing a more assertive side of him, especially because he is such a kind of a meek character by nature. By the way, that he cracks me up all the time when he's like saying, can we maybe possibly cure him? Wouldn't it be nice? Like, I find his live beings really funny. How about
Well,
you,
especially
Kayla?
once he knows who he is. He's like, we have to save him. And I think that is what's driving him too.
Right. It kind of gives him more inspiration because he is a Night's Watch brother. Yeah.
I have a question. Was he wearing gloves? Like latex gloves?
Yeah, they were
Did
like
have latex
elbow-length gloves.
in
Maybe
that
they
time
were like-
period?
I mean, I love that
they were
question
elbow
because
length.
it's,
Okay, I was
they're
just-
elbow length.
Okay.
They were probably made of like
Leather.
Like,
sheep's
Dragon skin,
organs,
whatever.
maybe. So didn't they mix stuff with that? Yeah, I think.
what I like about that is like, in that time, I mean, it's a made-up time. You can have whatever they want.
It could be the future. We don't know.
I meant to go back and watch because I remember him wearing gloves. I was like, wait, what kind of gloves were those?
He's definitely wearing gloves because
Okay.
if he, like, any part of you touches it, it's all infected.
Super.
So, I did like that he was asserting himself and kind of going against the grain and doing what needed to be done. That scene where he was cutting away Jorah's grayscale,
It
though.
looked like he was oozing mustard.
And why did they the editors are like, yeah, we're really going in there, like zoomed in, just peak.
It lasted for a
Disgustingness.
while.
And the noises.
Well, just like last week, like I feel like it's like we get it. It feels unnecessary, but I don't know.
A little
Maybe
bit,
It's like
yeah,
a theme they're going for, like hard to watch.
I mean, yeah, I'm not. I mean, it's their right to do it. I do feel kind of dared to watch something else a little bit. Like, how much of this will you watch?
Well, didn't that kind of seem just like the obvious thing is to cut it off?
Right.
What was
too.
the other option that they were like, oh, this can't be cured?
I mean,
Cutting it off seems like an option.
They said the danger is because the Maester risks
spread,
infection so
yeah.
much.
And is he using dragon glass? No.
Oh, I didn't think so. I thought he just
Okay.
had some tools.
Just like chopping it right off.
I mean, it was kind of cute. They had to like drink the rum and stuff,
I
and
like
that was
that
funny.
part. I could have used
But
it.
yeah,
He's
it
like,
was.
have you done this before? He's like, silence.
But Jorah will do anything to get back to his Khaleesi. So of course he endured it, and he had to like bite down the thing and whimper hard.
If that's not love, I don't know what is.
Love, obsession, whatever. And then it cut to get the final little grace note on it to a spoon breaking a pie crust and then spooning out the creamy filling.
That's what they
yeah.
did last week too, like the gross transition to food.
And I was eating dinner while I was watching
Yeah, bad move.
The editors are having a good time.
Yeah.
Yes. I did like the scene that came after it, though, which was a couple of Arya scenes in here, which was Arya Stark, This Is Your Life, I called it, because she's meeting, like, people from her past. What happened in, Kayla, what happened in the first scene where she was at the inn at the crossroads?
it. Hot pie.
Hot pie.
He's my favorite. I love him. I'm glad they had a little rendezvous.
And I loved the winking references to Arya's pie making skills.
That was cute, yeah.
Yeah.
And
You
he
made a
has
pie?
my
One or
favorite
two?
name of any character, which is quite a feat on a show filled with strange character names.
I'm glad he's still alive, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and alive and well, and
Very
like
well.
doing very well and seeming pretty happy, as opposed to Arya, who is, you know, Arya's experiences have branded her in a way that hot pies haven't, I think, and she was kind of distant and removed a little bit. What do you think the point of this scene was, Gwen?
I mean, obviously to further the plot in terms of Arya finding out the news about her brother and the
Right.
Boltons, but I think also it's a nice little break to have. I always like when there's like a scene of friendliness and kind of happy friendship. Like that's pretty rare on the show. So her just having some pies with her old pal is a nice little
was.
breather in the middle of the episode.
I also like that. I think it was like it was like the scene last week with Ed Sheeran, where Arya's been kind of a serial murderer for a while, and now we're having several scenes where she's kind of coming back to herself a little
Yeah.
bit, and reconnecting with the fact that she is a person and a human being with
Yeah.
like real emotions and thinks about things other than killing and murder.
Did you think there was anything to the conversation of him like saying she's pretty, she's a girl? Like I thought that was an interesting angle to go into.
I thought it was
like,
cute.
That's never been raised before, other than like the scene with Ned Stark telling her to be a dainty lady in season 1. But
That's a good point. I didn't think about that, but I mean, I thought it was charming.
Yeah.
Just because he's so jolly and so unlike everyone
Great
else in
word
the
for
show.
him, jolly.
Exactly.
We've really never seen Arya as like a woman.
I mean, we really haven't. When she was younger, she was like kind of tomboyish, and she literally did pass for a boy, and then she was training into being an assassin in a death cult, so that didn't really come up. Yeah, I like that angle too. I mean, not to go too deep into hot pie psychology, I suspect he's been nursing
Let's do it. Let's go into the hot pie
I
psychology.
mean, don't you think he's been nursing a crush on her for like years?
How can you not have a crush on Arya?
Exactly. Maybe they can end up together in the end. Think that'd be a good
Hot pie
ending for
love
it.
story.
I love it when they
Kayla?
bring characters back after a while.
Then you may have liked the next Arya scene where she runs into her old
Yes.
direwolf pal, her old pet, her old companion, Nymeria, who we last saw the second episode of the series where she chases her off with rocks because Cersei is going to kill her for mauling Joffrey, which was a noble act.
Totally.
Just made me sad.
Me too. Why?
Well, because all the wolves surround her, and Nymeria comes back. She's like, "It's me. Do you recognize me?" And she didn't attack her, but she didn't like show her any love by any means, and just kind of walked off because she betrayed her.
Corinne, by the way, said that she cried during the Nymeria scene.
Oh, it
I
was
could've.
sad.
What's that?
I could have cried.
There's nothing sweeter than a bond between human and wolf.
Canine, yeah.
I got some light chills. I thought that was like the most emotional scene for me. Well, I did. You know, have you ever been watching a thing and just kind of get like a little full
And
body
she's
chill?
been through so much, and then to
Yeah.
finally be reunited with Nymeria.
Yeah, Maisie Williams did a good job with that.
She
scene,
did.
too, because she was just all in her face.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying that I love seeing Arya back in a different circumstance. I think it gives Maisie Williams more chance to emote in kind of a more normal area, and
Yeah.
like I'm connecting with Arya more than I have in the last couple of seasons.
Absolutely.
What are you gonna say?
Did you guys see in the like after the episode thing
Yes.
with the showrunners what they said about that scene? I thought that was so
the
interesting.
ending line,
Right.
Which she said, "That's not you."
That's
Yeah.
not you.
And then that's what kind of she said to Ned in season 1.
Way back when he was like, "You're gonna be a pretty lady and have babies and stuff."
Yeah, and she said
So
that's
they're both lone wolves, as writer Brian Cogman put it.
full circle.
Exactly. I liked it a lot just because it's again that it's a metaphoric thing. If they've both been on this big journey and they're both changed, and if she is going north to Winterfell, do you think if she does reunite with her family, there might be a problem with that? That she's changed too much
Right.
to
I think
kind of
they're
have
all
a good
kind
reunion?
of like too powerful at this point. Like each person is good on their own.
Yeah.
So bring them all together. I don't know who's going to be in power.
And what that relationship's going to be like.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
like they want
even
different things
her
now.
learning about Jon being King of the North was like hard to tell what her reaction was to that.
I mean, she was in denial for a second. I think because she's been on this vengeance kick so long, she really was invested in doing that, and now she has,
Now I
like,
gotta go
throws a
hang out
kink
with my
into it.
family.
Yeah, exactly.
Guess I better go see what they're
But-
up
In
to.
the way.
I think she wants to hang out with her family, and I'm hoping they find a way to, I don't know,
Band together.
emotionally
Start family
recalibrate.
reunion.
Yes, a good one. Cindy was hoping Nymeria and the pack would join Arya in the battle, which would be cool. Arya could like ride Nymeria into battle against the White Walkers. I'd watch that.
We don't know that that's not going to happen.
We don't know it's not going to happen. She didn't die. Nymeria could still be out there.
Yeah.
Just if you're watching HBO, make that happen. Other Starkfire members, Jon and Sansa, are still kind of butting heads a bit at Winterfell. Kayla, how is their relationship progressing?
Progressing. I think they're gaining trust with each other, especially now that Jon's put Sansa in charge of the North as he goes down south.
He did.
So I think that's helping them in a way to build trust.
Me too. I mean, they keep kind of. Part of the issue is like, why don't they just discuss this stuff beforehand?
They're playing the brother-sister role really well.
You say that like. What do you mean by that?
Just how they're blunt with each other, they're honest with each other, like, oh, you should do it this way. No, I think you should do it this way. Like, butting heads, but still keeping peace.
All right, good. Again, I never had any sisters, but do you have any brothers, Gwen?
I have 2 brothers.
Does this ring true to you? The
I
way
mean,
Jon
I
Sansa
would probably
interact?
talk to them before we were out in front of all the people there at Winterfell. But yeah, I think that their relationship is evolving. I think Sansa is evolving, and that is kind of shifting their relationship. And Jon is pushing
Sure.
her to evolve and giving her this power, and her kind of claiming she has more confidence now after the Battle of the Bastards and feeding, Ramsay to the dogs and
Which
everything.
you would.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that is an adjustment for them because she's kind of like, he's not in charge anymore. She's trying to have her voice be heard, and he's actually listening to her, which is nice.
And he is, and he left her in charge. Hopefully that's and she seemed placated by that. Like she was like, you can't do this, and like, you're in charge. She's like, oh.
Okay, bye.
Okay, cool. By the way, Hunter Spurrier Marsh wonders if you noticed that Sansa's doing her hair more like Cersei used to now.
There's a whole thing online of people talking about hair theories and comparing Sansa and Cersei.
Game of Thrones is great for hair theories.
Yeah, I think we should mostly focus on Daenerys.
I didn't even know this was a
because
thing.
it's epic.
There's a lot of braids going on
Yeah,
there.
love it. And new
ones.
release.
Good. 1 second before we go into Daenerys, want to ask a question about. So Jon is going to see Daenerys going south because they have dragon glass and also they have dragons. I loved, by the way, how slow Davos was to kind of put together wait a minute, dragons breathe fire and we're fighting ice zombies. Maybe, like, we're there, show, we're good. And then that scene in the crypts between Jon and Littlefinger, what did you make of that, Gwen?
I mean, if we're talking about Jon and Sansa's relationship, I think that was satisfying to everyone for Jon to be kind of protective, playing the protective older brother there, and kind of putting Littlefinger in his place because everybody thinks Littlefinger needs to be slapped around a little bit from time to time.
Likes him.
But yeah, I thought it was an interesting scene, especially that they're in front of Ned Stark's statue and kind of the full circle. Littlefinger trying to scheme with Cat, and then now he's moved on to Sansa. I think that's interesting, and I think it'll be interesting to see what Littlefinger does while Jon's gone. Because as soon as they announced Sansa was in charge, he had a little
Yeah, one of those smiles, which he
Grinch,
loves to do.
smile. Come on,
What did Jon tell him? If you touch her, I'll kill you, or something?
something.
Yeah, pretty much. If you touch her, I'll kill you. Okay,
What a big brother does.
fair enough. Okay, so you think it's big, because I'll admit, I watched it, and I usually don't get into this stuff, but I thought there are theories out there
jealousy
who
kind of
say that,
thing?
yeah, a little bit, that say that
of
they
Jon?
might be a couple. I do not endorse it,
They're not
but there
actually
are.
related.
What's that?
If they're not actually related.
I mean, they'd be
I guess
they'd be
technically they're not.
cousins,
But they think they
right?
are. So.
But that, I mean, in the world of the show, that's,
Sure,
like,
you could
not
do a lot
very
worse.
related.
But like that was the first time that it kind of he reacted so strongly that I kind of saw a little bit of that, but I have no idea if they're setting up for that. I kind of doubt it. I think it's just big brotherly stuff.
Yeah.
But I do know that there are. They call them Jansa shippers.
Sansa.
They combine names to like show you who they want to ship.
Of course.
Anyway, going to Daenerys with her amazing hair. Well, to talk about that for a second. What is the situation with Daenerys' hair? I didn't notice.
There's a ton of braids.
Ton of braids?
More so than usual.
Her hair is always epic.
It was, the back of it was a sight.
Very twirly.
And I'm sure that wig must just take. Did they just like style the wig and then just pop on her head?
I'm sure it's more involved than that.
Okay, fair enough.
But anyway.
I still don't think it looks like a wig. If you look at the hairline, it's so perfect.
That's what that HBO money will get you.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean they've been perfecting that for 7 years now. They have Dany's wig game down. Sansa's wig game is a little off this year, but we'll see. Dany though, she's at Dragonstone. She's ensconced. She has her allies there. To me, she was very much in game face mode this episode. Like it was that kind of dead-eyed, staring in the middle distance thing the whole time. Like there's no vulnerability, which is fine. She wants to be a leader. What did you make of her conversation, first of several, with Varys, where she kind of laid down the law with Varys, questioned his allegiance? Do you think she was too harsh? Do you think she wasn't harsh enough?
I think she was the appropriate amount of harsh. She was just like, if you cross me, if you go against me, I'll burn you alive. And he's like, I expect nothing less.
Yeah.
So I think they understand each other.
each
They're
other.
on the same page. I don't think it was too harsh.
Very in character for her.
Yeah.
And for him, I guess, I mean, did she have a point that he did, work for her father, then work for Robert, then try to assassinate her, but only because he had to stay in power? Did she have a reason to be cross with him?
I think it's a valid point that she raised, but I also think he defended himself. He proved his point.
He did, yeah. I liked that he stood his ground and didn't kind of back off.
Tyrion kind of stuck up for him, saying, he is very loyal.
I liked throughout the episode how Tyrion was kind of the gateway to all these conversations. When they were talking, when Jon and Sansa were talking about the possibility of Jon going to meet with them, it was kind of, well, Tyrion's a good man. In my experience, Tyrion's a good man, and being a big Tyrion fan myself, I liked that was kind of the gateway, that Tyrion being involved in all this is helping people trust the situation.
Yeah, I liked that too. I mean, and that was set up long ago.
Yeah.
It's fun to see kind of these things they did literally not over a decade, 7 years ago in the first season start to kind of pay off now.
Right.
When the little friendship Jon and Tyrion had at the very beginning is kind of coming back and asserting itself. Now he trusts Tyrion enough to actually go and visit, which I think is a cool, long-awaited comeback.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that were referenced early on as they were building out this whole story, and I like that we're now coming back to referring to all that stuff, and it's all kind of coming together. Kind
of on that topic, I thought that the simmering Grey Worm Missandei tension was paid off nicely in that sex scene. I'll be honest.
You're looking forward to this.
I guess I was. I mean, you know what? HBO, I'm pretty sure HBO broke new ground tonight or last night. I'm just going to guess, there has not been another televised sex scene involving a male who has no genitals. I think this is probably the first time. And
We weren't really sure how it was going to go down, but I thought it was handled very well.
Me too. And I wasn't really on board with them for a while. Whenever they had a scene, I was kind of can we, I don't know, I don't really care that much.
Right.
Let's go into more important characters. But now that it kind of led to this, I thought I am a little more invested in them now that they have a real connection and relationship. And I thought the sex scene was done well. What did you think of it, Gwen?
They persuaded you? I was just really into the fact that Grey Worm kind of came out of his shell.
Me
and
too.
Kind of was this romantic poet telling her this whole elaborate story about being the bravest and her being his weakness, and it was very sweet.
I thought it was sweet because he's usually so, reserved and unsullied and robotic and everything. So that really sold it for me, the fact that he was coming out of his shell. And again, it kind of paid off the slow romance they have in the past few years and the way he's been kind of expanding into it. Kayla, do you have any thoughts on the first unique televised sex scene in history? I think.
I like that she was so, I don't know. Respectful,
Yeah.
and at first he was didn't want to take his pants off. She's like, no, I want to see you.
Right.
And it kind of, I think, made him more at ease and she really does like me.
And now I have two other characters to root for. So I'm happy. Also to fear for if they end up dying.
Yeah.
Because Grey Worm will be going to Casterly Rock, Tyrion revealed in that little war room meeting, where a bunch of personalities were clashing. So we have, who do we have? We have Daenerys at the head, we got Tyrion advising her, we got Ilaria Sand, we got Olenna Tyrell, Varys, Grey Worm, Missandei, Theon, Yara. A lot of folk.
Coming together.
A lot of folk together. How do you think Daenerys worked the room? Do you think she was a good leader in the situation? Do you think she was kind of managing everyone's expectations and desires like they should, Kayla Kaniram?
I do, and I like that Tyrion's always there to like help her with stuff and step in if need be. But yeah, I thought she did a great job of commanding everyone's attention and respect, and they're all behind her, so she's doing something right. Yeah.
They are. By the way, Jimmy Morton asks, is that a Russell Westbrook head in the background? And it is.
It
Jimmy.
Totally is. That's mine. Hey, Russ. Good eyes.
He's a big Game of Thrones fan, too, obviously.
Clearly. And going back to Game of Thrones, Leanne thinks that perhaps Grey Worm talking about his one weakness foreshadowed his death. I can kind of see that because they are going to, now that we care about him, they'll take him away.
Yep.
Going back to the war rooms, what's that?
Classic Game of Thrones
Classic move. Go back to the war room scene. So Tyrion's given Dany this advice. He says that don't attack King's Landing directly, rather like get the lords to support you instead, and she takes it. By the way, they had this moment where like she kind of parroted back his line about not being Queen of the Ashes, and he looked up at her like a puppy. Like he was so happy she was respecting his ideas.
He's not used to that.
He's not used to that.
I like Tyrion getting some love.
Joffrey didn't do that.
Yeah.
I guess I have two questions for you. My own personal pet theory: do you think Daenerys might fall for Tyrion might fall for Daenerys? And kind of going to the next one, Olenna sort of told Daenerys not to listen to people like that. Is that good advice?
I mean, I think it's good advice. I just loved her whole line about, that she has made it as far as she has by ignoring clever men. Which,
it was
as
a good
woman,
line.
It was a very like, you go girl kind of moment. I think I would not be into a Tyrion, Dany, star-crossed love storyline, more because I really respect their relationship as like war council kind of people, and I think that crossing that line would be an awkward like on Mad Men when like Don and Joan's relationship, like nobody wanted that. Like they are good co-partners, like they have a good healthy relationship. We like that. We don't need to make it a romantic thing.
I agree. I like that they have a mutually respectful relationship, like a working relationship.
Yeah.
And if you
but
put
folk do tend to fall in love with
Dany,
Dany.
it makes it more messy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. But maybe messy is good. And people do tend to fall in love with Daenerys. It happens a lot.
It's hard not to. She's pretty fierce.
How about you, Kayla? Do you think that it's a good advice to tell Dany basically just like don't listen, let loose? Because she does have a habit of doing things like crucifying people and burning down huts and burning fleets if Tyrion hadn't stopped her. Should she listen to her advisors or go with her instincts?
I think she goes with her instincts to a certain point, and I think she respects Tyrion enough to take his advice. And I think if she's gonna listen to anyone, it'll be Tyrion.
Mm-hmm. Sure, I agree. That's definitely the smartest guy in the room, most likely. Let's see what we got next. Let's move on to, speaking of Dany's occasional bad behavior, Cersei was using it to kind of convince the Lords of Westeros to side with her. How did she appeal to them, Kayla? And did she make any good points?
She did, but I feel like they were all kind of taken out of context. Like Daenerys was trying to do all these things for the good of the people, and she was like, she's a murderer, she's killed all these people, she lit them on fire, she crucified them, like just trying to like make her look like the worst person possible when in reality she was trying to do all these things for the greater good.
Which, I mean, that's just good salesmanship.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the people on your side.
Yeah.
Sure, but if Cersei really wanted to talk about being right towards people, she blew up the whole city.
It's not.
So I think you gotta like consider your source in that scenario, people.
But at least she is heading Westerosi soldiers. I did think her argument about she has these foreign soldiers was a good one. Because I don't know, I think that xenophobia is always a good motivator among a lot of people. And it seemed to work on Sam's jackass dad, Randall Tarley, who was considering defecting to the Lannister side. Because
do you think it worked on him? I couldn't really tell.
I couldn't tell exactly either.
The way they left it, it was kind of open-ended.
I mean, they had a scene featuring him being convinced. I'd imagine it'll work on him. I gotta tell you, I was a little afraid because I heard that ahead of time that he might defect, and I was like, I don't see that happening because he's sworn to Olenna Tyrell. But I can buy that he wouldn't be comfortable working with, I don't know, the shirtless, unkempt, horse riding foreign invader people, and that it's a good reason for him to switch over.
And when you're promised a position.
Yes, that
Yes.
Jamie's giving him power.
Everyone likes
He can
promotion.
Take that, yeah.
Wait, who was the new hot guy?
Oh, that is the
Sam's brother.
Yeah, that's Tom
Really?
Hopper, who
Okay.
is he wasn't playing the character last year. It was
Okay.
recast.
Oh.
Used to be the
Pulled it.
guy
It's like,
who
he's
played.
new.
They pulled a mom from Fresh Prince.
And you noticed immediately, like he was kind of in the
I did.
background.
I was like, I haven't seen him before.
Hello.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll be seeing more of him. Last year it was played by the dude from the Harry Potter movies who played that one jackass in one of them, I forget. And now it's the dude from Black Sails.
That's kind of my pet peeve when they switch in and out characters that did the same.
Classic
But-
Fresh Prince mom
Yes,
situation,
yes.
Aunt Viv situation.
Yep.
You think we're not going to notice? We're smarter than that.
Pam's mom on The Office.
Yeah,
Let's see.
totally.
Check into the commenters. Angela says, Cersei killed the people. Nobody is going to really be behind her when she can turn on the lords herself.
Yep.
And I think it's a great point, but I also think, I don't know, if you're choosing between a crazy queen who at least is from your country and a foreign queen you think is as crazy, maybe Cersei does look like a better option if you're within that bubble.
Lesser of two
Definitely
evils.
painting that picture for
Yeah.
everyone. So
Pretty well. She also took a little tour of the catacombs where Qyburn
Little
showed off
archery practice.
exactly his anti-aircraft device. Gwen, do you think this is? I mean, they're showing it us, so I'm sure it'll come out somehow. Do you think they could actually take down a dragon with this?
I hope not.
Yeah, me too.
That was really sad. We love the dragons.
Poor dragons, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, are they setting it up that like Cersei's gonna go into battle with her crossbow?
I doubt that. I think they're
just
setting
showing
up
off
this
the
this
weapon.
crossbow will show up in
Yeah.
some kind of
A
battle.
little foreshadowing.
Lannisters versus dragons, and at least do some damage.
Did we know there was a giant dragon skull in the basement? Have we
We
seen
did.
that before? Okay.
We saw it in the first season. Remember when Arya was like chasing the cats
yeah,
and she
yeah,
like
yeah. Oh,
chased
I do
into the
remember that
catacombs
now
and
that
she
you
had a big old dragon skull? Like it looked different this time because like they have like approximately $11 billion more now. But we definitely seen that area before in the dragon skulls before. So that's the Lannister segment of the evening. I think finally we're on to the big ending action scene.
Speaking of more money.
Yeah, really.
Speaking of more money, Greyjoy versus Greyjoy, murder on the high seas. All right, Kayla, how did this work as an action scene for you? Starting that off.
I thought it was very well done. You could definitely tell that they've upped their game. Just like everything between
Production
special,
value
it was just like so vibrant, and I thought production quality was a lot better than in the past.
It was definitely eye-popping. I mean, they've had eye-popping stuff before, like Battle of the Bastards was pretty amazing. I'm sure they'll have more. It was actually cut a little fast for my tastes, but I mean, it still totally worked. Gwen, what
I
about
like
you?
the flashes of fire.
Yeah, it was like
That added a really cool effect.
Yeah.
It was unique for the show.
Falling
It was
fire
like
everywhere.
a night battle at sea lit by flaming ships. Like
Yeah.
that's new.
And I think the way that they kind of just dropped it out of the, they're having this kind of flirtatious scene in the basement or in the depths of the ship.
don't know,
and
below
then all of a
decks,
sudden-
whatever.
All of a sudden it's, okay, we're totally switching into a violent battle up on deck, so.
Did any of that character interaction work for you? Yara and Ilaria flirting a little bit, and the Sand Snakes kind of.
I was
Sisterly
Team Theon
bonding.
in that case, not getting involved in a threesome with his sister, but with this show, you
Good
don't
on
really know.
him.
Yeah.
I mean, he couldn't anyway.
One good thing he did in this episode.
Well, let's talk about that then, because kind of the heart of this battle.
It's intense.
Let's see. Eric thinks that the sea battle is epic and that Euron gets better and better. Love the
Euron
fight the Sand Snakes
Was
put
on
up.
another level last
He
night.
was
Talk about Euron.
Crazy
Tell me what you
eyes.
thought about Euron, Kayla.
I don't even know, who did you describe him as? Like a,
If Jack Sparrow ran a Hot Topic.
yes. That's a very good description. He's just kind of like not human. I don't know. He seems very, I don't even know how to describe him. He's like an animal.
I feel like
A
he's like
demon,
hyped
yeah.
up on drugs or something.
Yeah.
He was high on goofballs or
Yeah.
something, or like a lot of Red Bulls, what I was grabbing in line.
Just like came towering down on the ship like,
And again, they're having some fun because the gangplank like crushes a dude,
Yeah.
which is a very
He
kind
does
of
have a
almost
very
Looney Tunes
Johnny Depp.
moment.
Yeah,
in
there's
Pirates
a
of the
real
Caribbean
Pirates of the
esque.
Caribbean vibe going on.
I mean, you get some pirates and ships in the water. It's hard not
The light
to.
was flashing.
I think it's a good thing that Euron's things is making a strong impression,
Very
kind of
intimidating.
this late in the game.
Yeah.
Is this a good or a bad thing?
good for him.
I mean,
for everyone
like
else.
for the audience, like to have like because a villain.
It's a little. It's a touch of the Walking Dead syndrome where like it's like, okay, now who's the next really bad guy? You know, like I don't want it
Absolutely.
to get too much. Like we hated Joffrey, then we hated
Ramsay.
and now here's the new one. Like that gets a little tiresome after a while.
Oh, yeah.
I think right now he's presenting himself uniquely enough that it's not tiresome yet, but I hope that they do
He's
a good
bad in a
job
different
with that.
way.
Yeah.
Mike Waite say dude was on bath salts or something.
Yeah,
Bath salts.
that's a good.
Probably bath
yes,
salts.
he had a little.
Good call, Mike.
Crazy
And
inside.
I agree with you. I mean, it's almost a good thing that we're nearing the end
Yeah.
because like we know they can't do this again
Yeah.
unless the Night King, I guess. But he's very different sort of
Yeah.
dude. And finally, the last moment was kind of the character moment of it. Yara sees her fleet burning, goes in superhero mode, leaps off, fights Euron, and then Euron bests her, and then it kind of gives Theon a chance to, I don't know, fight him, try and save her, and he bails and jumps overboard. Kayla, how did that moment strike you?
Well, like you said at the end, when you watch the end, they kind of go back to like he's never able to shake Reek when he's in these like really traumatic moments and scenes. That it kind of reverts back to that where he can't be
Right.
anybody, and just bails. It was sad to see, but I wasn't surprised.
Yeah, kind of a PTSD
Yeah.
situation.
Exactly. And there are some folk who are saying that it was a cowardly move, and I'm like, I don't really agree. I don't think you just get over being locked in a dungeon and having your junk cut off and tortured mercilessly
Yeah,
for
right.
years. So it made sense to me, and I thought it was sad more than angry about it.
Is it bad that the first thing I thought of was the scene from Hook where like he's like, "Come save us, Daddy, come save us," and they don't say it. It was like heartbreaking to me. Is that a weird reference to me? But that's what I
When
thought
he was
of.
on like hanging onto the piece of plywood, I thought of Titanic.
See, a lot of they're making a lot of
Floating
references.
away.
But no, I thought that they handled it like the lasting effects of trauma, and it was handled well that way.
And it was kind of our first cliffhanger of the season.
Yeah.
And to see her cry, I think was because she knows.
That was
Yeah,
rough.
and how
Yeah.
fierce she is
Yeah.
to see her in that vulnerable position was kind of a shift.
And Euron's maniacal laugh also kind of added some crazy over-the-top drama to it.
Yeah.
It was a good way, an effective way to, not a good way, but an effective way to end the episode, I thought. Where does Theon go from there?
Wherever he washes up to shore, I'm not sure.
And he's just doggy paddling.
That's a great
there.
question because I don't know.
Yeah, how's he going to that?
I mean, I'd like to see him have the kind of transition that Sansa and Sam are having where they're getting a little more confidence and getting a little bolder, but I feel like with him that's going to take a lot of work. And I don't know.
Because we
that'll
kind of
happen.
thought
If
he
you
was
can
getting
get
there,
to the
and then
shore.
we've just reverted back. So
The last topic is, what are you looking forward to next week? If you watch the trailer at the end of the episode? Cool. I mean, we had kind of a big one. It looked like Jon and Dany are going to meet,
that's probably my biggest.
which
thing
is
for next-
major.
Yeah.
It's pretty intense. It's fun.
So wait, who is still alive after that ending scene?
Okay, we got Yara and Ilaria and Tien Sand, her daughter, are all prisoners
The other
so far
two
as we
daughters
know.
are killed.
As far as we know. They
Yes.
could- I mean, because we
far
saw
as we know.
Ilaria saying, "Go ahead and get it over with." Like they could have killed her, but
Yeah, but
I
then
feel
the guy was like-
they wouldn't waste a good kill like that. They'd
Right.
show it if it was going to happen.
Because remember, Euron said, "I'm going to bring you a gift, Cersei." I'm pretty sure it'll be them.
Yeah.
Because they did kill her daughter.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised no one went after Theon.
Yeah, I guess me too.
But I guess nobody's really that. I mean, Yara's the only
He's
one
kind
who
of harmless,
seems
yeah, at this point.
devoted to him.
I mean, yeah, the guy who jumps overboard rather than fight. What good is he going to be
Was
against
thought to
anybody?
have killed the Stark boy. Yeah, it's just he doesn't have a good track record.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So we got Jon and Dany meeting next week. Anything else you're looking forward to, Gwen?
I want to see where Arya. What
Yeah.
happens with Arya?
Me too.
That's the storyline that I'm invested in right now, and the Sam storyline too. I'm into that. I just would hope.
I'm
that
afraid for the
they
Sam
end
storyline.
with the gross pattern that they're setting up. We get it. We're over it. It's good. We got it.
I mean, I'm going to be optimistic and say that I think I'm not sure what other gross things they could do unless they just do it just to
Don't
be disgusting.
underestimate HBO.
Right.
Oh,
Someone might have a weird new disease next week.
Yeah.
Let's close on that. Just looking forward to Jon and Dany meeting, and we're looking forward to not being disgusted by future Sam scenes.
Absolutely.
A quick thank you guys for commenting here. Got some good ones. We got Lucy pointing out that Ilaria is probably the gift to Cersei, Euron's gift to Cersei. Also pointing out that Cersei may now have control of the Iron Fleet now, or at least have Euron on her side, which she could do some real damage with.
Yeah.
Does this mean she's going to marry him now? Because didn't he say, I'll bring you a gift? And
That's what he will want, I assume. Would
that'll be
she?
interesting to see what
That's
happens.
quite a combination. It's a lot of crazy.
It's a lot of nuts in one room. And finally, Emily points out that we didn't see Bran or the Hound. Wants to see more of them.
Yes.
Which I agree with too.
Yes.
Especially the Hound. And
love the
Bran, I imagine he's on his way to Winterfell pretty quick. So
Part of the
well,
whole family reunion.
it could potentially be huge. Like Sansa, Arya, and Bran in the same place, working out. He's a wizard. She's an assassin. She's a political mistress.
John's a king now.
John's a king, but
quite the
he's
combo.
on vacation down south, somewhere warm. And we'll pick up with that next week, Mondays at 10 Central. I think next week we're going to have a giveaway. We're going to have another guest, Gwen. Loved having you on the
Yes,
show.
thank
It's so
you,
much
Gwen.
fun.
Be here. Thanks for having me.
It was a blast. Hope you guys will join in. Give us your comments, give us your queries and interests, and we will see you next Monday at 10 to discuss the Queen's Justice.
Ooh, sounds intense.
Does.
Excited about it.
Oh, also, here's a map of Westeros that we totally didn't use.